I would like to acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. It is also part of the Haldimand Tract, set aside for the exclusive use of the Haudenosaunee peoples of the Six Nations of the Grand River. We acknowledge the historical and ongoing wrongs committed by settlers, and are mindful of the deep injustices in which we are complicit and from which we benefit. We seek to restore relationships with the Indigenous peoples who now live on this land.
The land acknowledgement is an important reminder that history on this land didn't begin with us, and that we came to live on this land as a result of treaties and agreements that have been broken. So we do need this reminder, but we need to go beyond words and move to action. One thing that Jesus teaches us is to be concerned about the material needs of people. Rick Hill and Adrian Jacobs came to us, and we were fortunate enough that they brought this invitation to us to make reparation or token lease payments to the people of Six Nations as part of a spiritual covenant. So at Stirling, we've made a decision to pay 1% of our operating budget annually to the people of Six Nations, and that payment is offered in relationship.
So Adrian, where did the idea for a spiritual covenant come from?
Well, I'd heard a story of a Mennonite farmer came to Six Nations, and the Six Nations person said, "How is the harvest this year?" And the person said it wasn't very good. And then the question came from Six Nations, "Do you have a seed for next year?" And the person said, "No, this is all that we have, and we're bringing it here to pay our lease payment." And the Six Nations person said, "Take that back and come back when there's a better year for you." And so I think that that's part of what this spiritual covenant is all about. So I began that conversation with your church about this spiritual covenant 17 years ago.
So what does spiritual covenant mean from a Six Nations perspective?
Our understanding of the land was that this land is the dish with one spoon territory. This is the dish with one spoon wampum belt. And it describes the fact that this land is the dish that feeds us all. So this idea of covenant comes from that understanding of what the land means to us and what our relationships mean to one another.
So after 17 years of this journey, what inspires you to keep going?
Well, when our people first established this treaty relationship with one another on the land, we put together another belt called the Silver Covenant Chain, and it describes the relationship between people. This line is a symbol for linking arms together. So we meant to have a relationship together and be able to be in the land together. The strength of my ancestors is what keeps me moving forward in this conversation.
I think as someone who's now just stepping into this journey, I feel a sense of responsibility, but also joy in continuing this conversation. I think it's that vision of interconnectedness and also interdependence with the land that inspires me as well, and kind of calls us back to actually our Christian understanding of peace as well.
And that's what treaty is, and so that's mutual inspiration.